Aliko Dangote is the richest man in Africa. As the owner and founder of Dangote Group of companies, he plans to use his wealth to revolutionize Africa itself. With a net worth of $14.3 billion funding his dreams and a group of powerful companies under his belt at the age of 66, he might just achieve that dream. In this video, we'll be going over the steps and philosophies that have led to Aliko Dangote being called the King of Africa. Stick around till the end and you might learn a thing or two about being king. Early life. Born on April 10, 1957, in Kano, Nigeria, Aliko Dangote was exposed to entrepreneurship and the business mindset early on. Aliko was raised by his grandfather, Sansui Dantata, who had made a small fortune on being a rice and oats trader. The lifestyle and ins and outs of trading commodities was interesting to Aliko, and he soon grew a liking to the world of business. With his grandfather as his role model and mentor, Aliko had a grasp on the world of business quite early on. This early exposure to business gave him the entrepreneur's drive, building a small business of his own as early as primary school, where he would buy sugar boxes at the local store and reselling them for a small profit. It was a far cry from the business that his father and grandfather had, but it was surely a taste of the world he wanted to be in. He went on to study business studies at the Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt. Aliko wanted to hit the ground running as soon as he graduated, and when he finally did in 1978, he did just that. The leap of faith. Everyone sees their 20s as their prime, the age of partying and exploring what you like. But Aliko already knew what he wanted. He wanted business. At the age of 21, fresh from college, he borrowed $3,000 as capital for his business. Growing up with a successful rice trader, he wanted to stick to what he knew. He began importing rice from Thailand and sugar from Brazil, reselling it in this neighborhood, and slowly branching out and forming a customer base. The business was so good that on some days, he would earn $10,000 in a single day, most of which, of course, went back into the business. But 10 grand is still 10 grand. After just 3 months of business, Aliko was able to pay off his uncle's loan. Things were going great. Aliko was debt-free, and he had a lucrative business to go with it. But as with every successful entrepreneur in the business, Aliko Dangote wanted more. After a few months in the trading business, he started to realize that being the middleman between suppliers and customers wasn't as profitable as he had thought. Not only that, but the constant importation left little satisfaction for him. He wanted to support himself and his neighborhood. So instead of getting comfortable in his profitable space of being a middleman, he ventured out to be a supplier. Aliko Dangote began investing in manufacturing. Dangote Foods. The first goal that Dangote set out to do was turn his already successful rice and sugar trading business into a successful rice and sugar manufacturing business. He already had the customers and he already had the connections. All he had to do was secure the means of production. Dangote Foods is split into 3 different subsidiaries, namely Dangote Sugar Refinery, Dangote Salt, and Dangote Rice, all of which have been in operation for years before finally being merged into a single entity under Dangote Foods in 2022. The first manufacturing company, Dangote Sugar Refiner, handled the manufacture and distribution of sugar and other sugary products around Africa, becoming one of the leading manufacturers of sugar in Africa itself. The second, Dangote Salt, was in charge of salt production, and the third, Dangote Rice, well, you can probably guess what their primary focus is. Suddenly, Africa wasn't solely dependent on rice imports. There was suddenly a market for locally produced rice that not only had good quality, but also was far cheaper, since it came without additional import cost. And with Aliko being at the helm of this change, it was looking like a win-win situation. But this was only one of the subsidiaries under the umbrella that is Dangote Group of companies. Dangote Cement. Probably the biggest star in Dangote's lineup of companies, we have Dangote Cement. During Dangote's time as a sugar and rice trader, he also dipped his toes in the cement trading business. Every country needed cement, especially Nigeria, which was also currently undergoing a lot of industrial development. It wasn't long before Aliko also realized that importing cement had the same problem as importing rice and sugar. He knew that he had to become a cement manufacturer, but going into the cement manufacturing business was a huge feat compared to his dreams of being a food manufacturer. So instead of plunging into the depths of cement manufacture early on, he decided to bide his time. He focused on his food business and continued his cement trading business under Dangote Cement. But in the year 2000, his time would finally come. Dangote Group would acquire the Benue Cement Company from the Nigerian government, and he would make it his own. This was a huge step towards Aliko's goal of becoming a cement manufacturer, but this wouldn't be the biggest step. After a few years, the company was big enough to establish the massive Obajana cement plant, one of the largest cement plants in Africa. Over the years, Dangote Cement continued to expand its production capacity, opening additional cement plants across Nigeria and other African countries. Aliko was slowly taking over the different industries in Africa, and soon he would add another to the list: Dangote Oil Refinery. In 2007, Dangote would branch his business out to one of the biggest industries in Nigeria, and even in the entire world. Nigeria is the second biggest oil-rich country in Africa, but as abundant as oil is, Nigeria still does not have the means to refine and use it in the first place. So they had no choice but to import oil, that is, until Aliko stepped in. Dangote wanted to establish an oil refinery that could not only reduce the country's dependency on foreign oil, but also export this oil to earn a profit. Of course, this was no small feat. The capital needed to start a refinery of that size would take billions of dollars. But Aliko Dangote is the same man who started a multi-million-dollar empire with just a $3,000 loan. Aliko secured a loan from the World Bank worth $3.3 billion for the development of his refinery, and the United States of America has also pledged a $1 million training program. If any country knows how to handle oil, it has to be America. With this money, Dangote would order the establishment of the Dangote Oil Refinery, a 2,635-hectare oil factory that could produce an estimated 650,000 barrels of oil per day. And soon, after some more preliminary checking, Africa will soon become its biggest oil refinery ever. So with all these powerful businesses under his belt, and with multiple industries in a chokehold, what is Aliko's business philosophy? The first rule to Dangote's philosophy, and what many other millionaires like him follow too, is to keep investing your money into the business. If a business prints money, it needs more money to make more money. Dangote firmly believes that money that you earn from your business shouldn't be stowed away in some bank to earn you pennies. It should go into the business. Business moves like creating refineries, creating manufacturing facilities, and expanding his group's industries are a few examples of this philosophy shining through. But perhaps his biggest philosophy would be to dream big. Of course, Aliko wanted to become a millionaire. I'm sure we've all had that as our goal at some point, but that wasn't all Aliko was looking for. Aliko also wanted to support his country as it prospered, taking away the constraints of constant importing and even opening up jobs for his countrymen. Aliko took the time to look around at his community, and he strove to give them what they needed the most. So the next time you're looking to take your first steps as a billionaire, don't chase profit and don't chase industries just because you think they're profitable. Look for opportunities in fields that you know, and look at what you and your community needs. Do this, and who knows, you might be looking at $1 million yourself.